Okay, so what you're seeing here is the Account Central login screen. This can be completely configured to do anything you want as far as the look and design. This is a very basic one, but you can change up the logo, the colors, the content, and all that type of thing. So, the importance of this screen is really because it's a login screen, and there's basically two types of users that can log into this system. The first one is a customer-based account that only allows the user to be able to have access to one customer. So they can go ahead and make payments, they can view information, they can manage the account, but they can only do it for their account. Um, the other one is a multi-user account, and so our multi-customer account. And what this allows is that a single login can then access more than one customer. So this is normally used for when you've got customer service reps that are making payments on behalf of their customers, or need to be able to manage the customers or whatever. The important thing about this is that it gives you a way to give your customer service reps or your employees the ability to have access to this information, be able to go and make payments for their customers without requiring them to have a login to the SL-Thick client. This is really important when you've got people that are working remote that need to be able to access systems without needing that thick client. They can just do it with any web browser that's out there. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as a user that is a single customer user. I'm going to log in as Suede Puma. And Suede Puma has access to only one customer. So when I come in, I'm automatically brought in for C331 Vendor's Fish. That's my customer that I'm tied to. So I can go ahead and now view invoices, do all that type of thing without having any other access to any other customer. So after that, I'm going to log in next as a multi-customer user. I'll log in like that. And the first thing I see is I see a list of customers that I have access to. So these customers have been assigned to me. We can assign 0, 1, or more customers to a user, and we could also make the user a CSR rep, which would give them access to all customers. So what I'm going to do is first go in as CT0100, and now I'm able to go ahead and manage this customer, be able to make payments, view invoices, that type of thing. So let me just walk through the functionality of Account Central. We'll just go to the main menu and start walking down what we can do. So first, we can manage our payment wallet. Basically, a payment wallet is nothing more than a way to store your credit cards, bank information, that type of thing. Now, we don't store any of this stuff in Account Central. It's not stored on your servers. None of the system actually has any direct access to any of these payment methods. So what we use is we use a third-party solution that is PCI compliant, so that minimizes your PCI footprint and helps secure your system so that you don't have any kind of payment information sitting on any of your servers, databases, or anything like that. So I can go ahead and look at these and manage them. I can add a new credit card if I wanted to, and what this does is it allows me to go ahead and just save an extra credit card. So I just enter in credit card information to be able to deal with that. If I wanted to add e-check, which is basically capturing bank account information so that you can go ahead and save that for ACH type transactions, that type of thing. So let's go back to the main menu, and next we'll go into scheduled payments. So scheduled payments allows you to pay invoices automatically. So when an invoice is generated, you can set up some rules. The customer can do this so that they can pay invoices automatically without having to do anything. So what I can do is I can choose a payment method that's coming from the wallet. I could also add another payment method if I wanted to. I can choose how it's scheduled. So once an invoice is generated in SL, I could say, okay, sure, I want to go ahead and pay that right away, or I want to pay it on the due date, or maybe X days ahead of the due date. So that way, it gives the customer the ability to be able to set how they want it paid all the way up to the due date. I could do grouping. Now, in this case, we're only allowing invoices being paid individually, but we could also group invoices as well. So if the customer has more than one invoice that's due in their criteria, then we can create a single payment application with all those invoices and pay against all of them. In this case, we're only allowing one, and this is a configuration setting. Also, the maximum amount. This allows the customer to define how much they would want to be able to charge or do an ACH transaction automatically. So you may not want to do a $100,000 against your credit card. So if you've got limits on that, you can go ahead and set this a maximum amount. And if it doesn't meet your maximum, if it's over your maximum amount or over the customer's maximum amount, then it's not going to automatically pay the invoice. If there's any success, we've got some ways to go ahead and send an email out saying, hey, you paid, thanks a lot, and you can go ahead and send it out to one or more emails by just delimiting it with a semicolon. And same way with a failure. So the customer is going to want to know if there's a failure, so they can go in and fix their payment method, change their payment method, whatever. And so it would go ahead and email out to somebody like that. And if there is an error, how do you want to go ahead and handle it? Do you want to retry it the next day or on the due date or in so many days, or just don't retry and disable scheduled payments? And of course, I can enable or disable the capability of doing scheduled payments. So going back here, the next, well, there's a contact us, which is a form, and it's just basically a customizable form, so you can capture information in a format that you want, as opposed to the customer just emailing you. But it's just something that you can set up. Account settings is another way of managing your customers. So in this case, what I can do is I could go ahead and manage my email address and password and other information. We can go ahead and allow the user to manage their billing address and shipping addresses and all their SO addresses if you wanted to. That's all configurable, so we can set that up to allow them to manage their account so that they don't always have to go ahead and call in and deal with that kind of thing. And also, what they can do is change which account they're currently working with if they're set up to be able to be a multi-customer user. In this case, I am, so I can go ahead and change around. The next I'll show is making a payment. Now, there's two different types of payments that you can do in here. One is to pay against an invoice, and the other is to go ahead and pay against on your account. So paying against an invoice would be a payment application. Paying on your account would be a payment entry. So in this case, if you wanted to be able to give your customers the ability to just make a payment against their account, we can do that. So in here, I'm just going to go ahead and just make a general payment. I'm going to go ahead and put in, this is like an invoice number, a quote number. It's just a reference so that we can find things. And let me go ahead and do $3.33. I can go ahead and pay with an existing credit card if I wanted to, or if I had electronic check banking information, I could do that. I'm just going to pay with a new card. So I hit continue. And what this is doing is it's now going to load up the external PCI compliant payment page. So this section right here is not sitting on your servers or a part of Catalina technology or anything like that. It is a PCI compliant third-party thing that's out there that allows us to be able to take payments securely and limit your risk. So I'm just going to enter in a new card. In this case too, I could also save this for later use. It would end up in my wallet. I could make it my default card if I wanted to make it usable for auto pay. In this case, I'm just not going to save that. This billing information is automatically coming over from SL. This is also important as well because you can get lower rates on your payment processing the more information you go and send to your merchant, or your merchant account. So we can do level 2 and level 3 payment processing by capturing more information. So we're bringing over stuff from SL that we already have. The user could also fill things in. Now I'm going to go and process this. Now again, this is just creating a payment for an amount, and it's going to go against my account as opposed to getting applied to an actual invoice. So I've got $3.33. I'm going to now bring up my that's a payment entry, and let me go ahead and search for that. And there it is, $3.33. So I didn't have to do anything at all. It just goes in once it's authorized through the payment processor. We then go ahead and create that payment entry. Now I could release this. And SL is going to go ahead and process it like it normally would. So it really goes ahead and minimizes the amount of work that you're going to have to do. You don't have to have somebody rekeying information after they go ahead and receive a credit card payment or a check or anything like that. Okay, so this is complete. And if I bring up my customer, and let me go ahead and search for CT0100. And if I look at my activity, there's my $3.33. So very simple to be able to go and do this, make a simple payment. Now that's making a simple payment. Let me go and do something. Well, let's go into account history now. So let me bring up the system. All right, so this is the payment. So now I can go into account history. So I made one type of payment, which is a payment against the account. Now I can go and look at all my invoices, all my payments, all that kind of thing. I can see credits, whatever. So I'm just going to look at all. So if I drill down into an invoice, I can see an invoice, and this must have probably come from invoice and memo. But if I look further down, I probably can see one from order management. Here's one. So this one came from order management. You can see it was a sales order. So any kind of invoice or any kind of AR document that gets into SL that we need to be able to go ahead and show as an invoice, we can do it, whether it came from invoice and memo or order management or service or whatever. So we can go ahead and deal with any of that type of thing. So next thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and walk through an entire payment process from SL. So I am going into invoice and memo, and I'm going to, let's say, C331. I'm just going to put this in for Fenner's Fish, and I'm just going to create a simple invoice here, and let me do this for one unit, and let's do for 43.12. 43.12, let's put in the amount, 43.12, 43.12, and I'm just going to release it. Oops. I have some defaults that I don't have set up in SL, but that's fine. And we'll go ahead and release it. So I've got something for 4312 for C331, the customer ID C331. SL is complete. Now let me go back into Account Central. Now we're in CT0100. Why don't we go ahead and change to C331, switch accounts. And let's go into all because I don't see it there. Here it is here, 4312. I can go and look into that. I can see 4312 shows my information. I could pay there, or I can pay one or more invoices if I want. But let me just pay for this one. I can see here if I've got credit memos that I can certainly go and apply to, and it's going to apply it against the invoice if I wanted to. So then my payment would be my invoice minus my credit memo. I'm just going to go ahead and make a payment. I could use an existing card if I wanted to, but I'll use a new card. Okay. And now I can enter my card information. Okay, like I could in the other one, I could save it later into my credit card wallet, and I'll process. And so this is again hitting the PCI compliant solution, and then now I've got a $43.12 here. So let me go back into SL, and so now it's going to be payment application. Here we go. Here's my $43.12. I can go in. I can see $43.12. The dock balance is 0. I can go ahead and release this. It's doing its thing. And once SL releases it, I'll be able to go ahead and look at it. The beauty about this is that you don't have to go ahead and enter this stuff in. Was this C331? I think it was C331. Vendor's fish. I can look at my activity. And there's my $43.12. If I include applications and refresh, I can see my payment, $43.12. So it really makes things a whole lot simpler to be able to deal with. Now, another thing to talk about that I didn't talk about earlier is batching. So as you saw, whenever I brought in something, it came in a single batch, but you may not want to have every payment going into its own batch. So you can also do daily batches. We could go ahead and separate different payment types into different batches. So maybe you want your American Express to go all in one batch for the day, Visa, MasterCard, Discover go into another, and all your ACH go into a third. So what we do is, depending on what the criteria is, we'll go and say, okay, is there an open batch right now? If there's not, we'll create one. And then use it. But if there is, we'll use it. And then we'll go ahead and start putting payments against that. Or in my case, because it's easier to demo with every payment going into its own batch, basically you can put every payment in its own batch. So it really depends on what you want to be able to do. So again, thanks for watching the video. If you've got any questions, you can certainly email us at sales@catalinatechnology.com, and you can also see information about us on our website, www.catalinatechnology.com. Thank you very much.